Hey, what's up, chemistry people? A quick bonus video here to help you understand Lewis valence electron dot diagrams for ions. Now, as you take a look at your screen, I've got sort of an abbreviated periodic table. Recognize all those transition metals have been sort of cut out, and we're looking at just the main group elements here. So we've got group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm showing you the Lewis valence electron dot structures for each of the neutral atoms of these elements. But, as we'll learn, many of these elements will gain or lose electrons in order to complete their valence level. This concept will come up a lot when we talk about bonding. However, we thought it'd be a great opportunity to introduce this concept here. You should recognize that metals, which I'll highlight here in green, typically lose electrons. And your nonmetals, which I'll highlight in blue, typically gain electrons. And they will lose or gain however many electrons it takes to complete their valence level. So let's start with the metals. Lithium, sodium, and potassium each only have one valence electron. When they lose that valence electron, they now have one less negative charge than the number of protons in their nucleus. Therefore, the atoms of these elements, when they lose their one valence electron, are no longer neutral. We indicate that by putting the charge of the overall atom. And the group 1 elements are all going to form ions with a 1+ charge, because they've lost one negative electron. Metals in group 2 will lose 2 valence electrons, and will therefore form ions with a 2+ charge. Aluminum is going to lose all 3. You guessed it, formed a 3+ charge. When we get to the nonmetals, they're not going to lose electrons, they're going to gain electrons. And the number of electrons they're going to gain is going to depend on how many electrons they need to complete their valence level. The noble gases already have a complete valence level and are not going to gain any additional electrons. Our group 7 halogens, however, need one additional electron to complete their valence level. Boom. However, these are no longer neutral atoms. They've become negatively charged ions. Both fluorine and chlorine will form ions with a -1 charge because they'll gain 1 electron. Oxygen and sulfur will each gain 2 because they've gained 2 additional negative charges. The charge of these ions become 2-. Nitrogen and phosphorus, you guessed it, they each gain 3 in order to complete their valence level and will form negatively charged ions with a charge of 3-. And actually, it's common practice to actually see the Lewis valence electron dot structures for the ions enclosed in brackets, helping to set off and identify them as ions. Boom! Done!